how do I be a better Christian leader or a better Christian in general? This one seems opposite and rather simple, and it's not going to have an immediate effect. But before honor is humility, I think that the greatest thing that you can invest in is having a servant mindset and being comfortable with being invisible. And I think that those two things, and I'm not saying that always will people seek you out when they see that within you, but it's a better likelihood that people will notice within you, wait, that person's just going about their business and doing it well, and they're a learner, and they are investing in the smaller things or going into the highways and hedges where nobody notices them and making a difference in the lives of others. And people who are in leadership notice and appreciate hard workers who are humble and learning. And the opposite is also true. People and even the Lord, you kind of avoid people who are proud and who are always trying to make a way for themselves to be seen. And I think about the disciples who, it seemed like every time that if you read the Gospels, and it seemed like every time Jesus was trying to tell them that he was about to die and he's going to go on the cross and he's going to suffer, then like in this same chapter, within a few verses, you'll see them like, so who do you think is going to be the greatest among us? Who do you think it's going to be? And I just thought how annoying it had to be Jesus. Be like, I just told you I'm going to die and suffer, and you guys are trying to figure out who's going to be the greatest, because it is within us to feel like we aren't something, we're not making a difference. We certainly couldn't be a better Christian if we're a nobody, because if you're good at something, you're definitely going to be a somebody. And yet Jesus kept trying to show us over and over and over that in the eyes of God, the greater Christian is the servant. In the eyes of God, the greater Christian is the one who esteems other better themselves and puts themselves lower and vaunts not themselves or puffeth not themselves up. And it's just contradictory in our minds, because in many, many societies, we esteem prestige and influence as success. But in God's eyes, he esteems servanthood as success, and not servanthood that people will see. In Luke 22:26, Jesus said, but I am among you as he that serveth. And in Matthew 23:12, Jesus said, whosoever shall exalt himself shall be abased, and he that shall humble himself shall be exalted. And that doesn't necessarily mean on this earth, but in the eyes of God. And one of the ways to humble yourself, how do you become in that mindset of humbleness and servanthood, is that I would sit at the feet of wise people and always be willing to learn, always be seeking to learn, always, like, that needs to be your forefront, that you are never the authority. There's always somebody you can learn from, and it doesn't necessarily have to be somebody who is wiser than you or in a leadership position over you or somebody who is older than you. You can even learn, you can especially learn from your enemies. You have to be careful in the multitude of counselors, and there is safety. Don't believe everything that your enemy says about you. But your enemy can see your flaws, and they are very quick to tell you what they are. Whereas your friend or your parents might see your flaws and just accept you and love you and be gracious, because that's a great thing to do. But if you're willing to grow and learn, and you want to learn and grow, then hear what your enemy has to say and say, is there some truth to that? Maybe I am speaking the truth, but not in love. Maybe I need to practice more on James 3:17. And that was something that I learned from my enemies, people who definitely considered me not their friend, because I was trying to preach the truth. But I think I said it a little bit harshly, and so I learned from them. So continually be learning. The other thing is, in being humble, be obedient to the Father, but not just in those very, very clear things, but be obedient in putting yourself below others in regards to doubtful situations. Be willing to surrender your liberties for their conscience sake. If you know something is in your mind, you're all like, clearly I can see in Scripture, this is not a sin, but somebody else is fully persuaded that it is, put yourself lower. That is humility. That is what Jesus did. He had the right to do everything, and yet he put himself lower. Paul, he said, although all things are lawful, not everything is expedient. And if needs be, I won't even eat any meat if it's going to offend the brother. And then be like Enoch, who walked with the Lord and pleased him. I was just reading about Enoch the other day and how he was translated into heaven because he pleased God. Oh, that is my heart. To be the friend of God and to know the Bible and to love hearing from him through his word and to daily learn more about him, that it's not just rote and repetitive and mundane, but that it's a privilege to know him and to hear what he has to say about things and then to pour out my heart before him. Can you imagine just walking with the Lord every day and being pleased with the fact that he is your companion, he is your all, he is your purpose? You be a better Christian and be more useful, which could lead to a leadership position. But as you are serving God, the people that you are serving are being touched in their hearts. And we are all a light to somebody. Whether it's 50,000 or 15, we're a light to somebody. So humility, servanthood, being comfortable with being invisible, and walking with the Lord as closely as you can.